Evening, everyone. It is 5:46. Again, I apologize for the lack of a pre-opening comment, and I'm going to apologize in advance for this one because E-Trade does not have my system completely back up and running. So everything I have for you, I'm taking from notes that I made during the day. Okay, so stocks were lower today. Um, and in point of fact, they were actually softer than they actually looked. The Dow was down 62 and change, which was 0.18%, but advanced declines were 2 to 1 to the downside. The NASDAQ was down 84.55 or 0.6%. Um, Not much there, but the advanced declines at the NASDAQ were 3 to 1 to the downside. I can't really complain about the volume, although it was even lighter than yesterday, 4.1 billion today. But, it's a holiday week. Tomorrow might be the weakest day, the lightest volume day of the year, except for Friday, which is only a half day. S&P down $9. The big loser today was the Russell, down 23.82, down 1.32%. And remarkably, the transports were actually up a dime at up 1/10%, $15.11. Oil was lower by 6 cents, no big there. Nat gas was down by 6 cents, also not a big deal. The gold was up to 2001 and change, up 2130, and that was even with the Fed minutes at 2 o'clock coming out as we're keeping it higher for longer. Um, The silver up 26 cents at 23.86. Bitcoin was down about 700. The dollar was up 13 cents, and the bonds were down 3/16. So really, not much of anything. The grains were pretty much flat, although the soybeans were up another $10, and the wheat, even though it's sitting pretty close to the recent lows, was up $12. So that's about it. As far as the earnings go, this morning we had Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS. It was a beat. And although it had closed at 119 and traded up to 133.82, it came all the way back down and closed at 121.36. That was up $2 and change and was fully $12.50 off the high, which is 10% on that price stock. That's pretty big. Best Buy beat. It had closed at 68.11. It traded as high as 68.05 and traded as low as 62.92. And it closed exactly the opposite way of the Dix. It closed 67 and a half. That was down only 61 cents and 60 cents from the high and $5.50 from the low. Nordstrom had earnings this afternoon. It closed 14.90, down 21. It traded both higher and lower. Traded up as high as 15.46, as low as 13.60, and it closed right in the middle, 14 and 3/4, down 42 cents. That's only 15 cents different than it was before. The problem there is their full price stuff and their inventories. The Nordstrom rack did remarkably better. Also in retail, we had Kohl's, KSS. It had closed at 24.86, down 70 cents yesterday, but after the close, it actually moved lower on the loss of their COO. And then after it reported this morning, it just got worse. We traded down as low as 21.45, but rallied also up to 22.73. That was down $2.13. So really not much there. Lowe's was, I believe, lower. Let me just pull it up. Okay, here we go. Lowe's 198 and change down 638 or 3.1%. American Eagle crushed, even though the response was higher initially. 1663 down $3.12 or 15.8%. Dix, as I said, up 258, and Burlington, a big gainer on a percentage basis, 165.06, up 28.35 or 20.7%. Well, that's pretty impressive. Existing home sales were pretty much unimpressive. Um, they came in at 3.79 million versus 3.9 million estimate. The prior number was 395, and that was revised from 396. Existing homes continue to be crimped by high mortgage rates, high selling prices, and limited inventory. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we have mortgage index every Wednesday. At 8:30, we have Thursday's numbers of weekly initial claims. The number looks like 227 versus 231, continuing 1.865. Really, on a short week, I don't know if that's going to matter. And frankly, it doesn't matter much anyway because they revise it every week. At 10 o'clock, we have final November University of Michigan consumer sentiment, expected to be 60.9. The prior was 60.4. Weekly crude inventories at 10:30, and at noon, nat gas inventories. So there you have it. Hopefully, I'll be back first thing in the morning with a full report. Have a good evening.